Straight ahead on 12 News, the power of produce. A local farmer's market gets kids excited about their fruits and veggies. Plus, an important fall vote, how it will shape the future of Robbinsdale area schools. But first, a difficult day for police officers who remember one of their own.
A tragedy like this really reminds us of how fragile life is.
12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. 1 week after Mendota Heights police officer Scott Patrick was murdered while conducting a traffic stop, his body was laid to rest.
Thousands gathered in West St. Paul Wednesday to honor Patrick's sacrifice. And as Delane Cleveland reports, that group included a large contingent of Brooklyn Park Police.
A week ago, in broad daylight, a routine traffic stop turned into a tragedy.
At St. Stephen's Lutheran Church in West St. Paul,
Scott impacted many people on the path of life, evidenced by the outpouring of community support over the past week.
family, friends, and those in the law enforcement community came together to honor the life of Officer Scott Patrick.
A hero's tribute to a man who made the ultimate sacrifice.
But several hours before the funeral even began, 30 officers from Brooklyn Park gathered near police headquarters to make the trek to West St. Paul and pay their respects.
All the officers are attending on their own time and will be showing a strong show of support.
A strong show of support for a man that none of these officers knew. But Officer Patrick took the same oath to protect and serve, and lost his life while doing it.
It really strikes us close to the heart, because that could be any one of us. Going out each day, responding to a call, trying to do our best, and something bad happens. It's part of the job, unfortunately.
The officers' cars are marked with words like service, justice, and courage, reminders of the attributes needed to perform their job every day.
A tragedy like this really reminds us of how fragile life is and how risky the job is, and the dangers involved and the precautions that we need to take.
Even with reminders of how fragile life is, the grieving officers remembered to keep their sense of humor intact.
Please watch over Scott and do him one favor, because he sure as hell deserves it. Point him in the direction of the best restaurant in heaven with half-price margaritas on Mondays.
The Brooklyn Park officers say that since the incident last week, they've been on heightened alert, but until they learn all the facts about what happened, they say they're not going to make any changes in how they handle traffic stops. Shannon?
All right, thank you, Delane. A potentially scary situation today ended with no one hurt. Police say a Brooklyn Center teenager and her 9-month-old daughter were found safe in Hudson, Wisconsin. Police say they were traveling with Shondrell Nash, the 17-year-old's father. Nash is accused of assaulting her, and he was arrested on the scene. Police believe they were traveling to Georgia or Florida, but thanks to a series of tips, police were able to find them quickly.
The fact that we're able to blast out information to multiple departments, to news media, to gas stations, to hotels, and within 12 hours be able to find the people that we're looking for. It's a great example of citizens being aware.
The 17-year-old and her baby were taken to the hospital, and they are okay. The baby was on medication, and there was a fear it would run out if the pair was missing much longer.
Come November, voters in the Robbinsdale School District will have a referendum to decide. The first question asks for renewal of the existing $20 million operating levy. If approved, there would be no tax increase. Question 2 will ask voters to approve a $3.5 million per year technology levy, and that would cost the average homeowner an additional $7 per month if approved. Robbinsdale school officials say both questions are equally important to the district. The existing $20 million operating levy is 13% of the district's budget, or the equivalent of 225 teachers. The technology levy would provide infrastructure upgrades, support teacher training, and give students new tech tools.
We live in a digital world, and in order to adequately prepare students to thrive in this digital world, they need the technology tools to be successful, and those skills so they can be successful in this 21st century workforce.
The referendum will be on the ballot November 4th.
An alert Golden Valley resident helped police nab a burglary suspect. A string of burglaries occurred last week in the northeast part of the city. Police arrested a teenager trying to run away from one of the burglarized homes. Detectives traced all of the burglaries to the same person who's currently awaiting charges with the Hennepin County Juvenile Attorney's Office. National Night Out was a night of firsts for two local police chiefs.
And that's right. Neil Persley spent time with Maple Grove and Brooklyn Park's new police chiefs as they joined forces with neighbors.
Joel, nice to meet you. I'd shake your hand, but
that's okay.
Okay, I'm Eric Warner. I'm the chief, so
Yeah, very cool.
good to be out here.
Maple Grove Police Chief Eric Warner did a lot of that Tuesday night.
New chief here.
Oh, congratulations. I didn't realize that.
And now a lot more Maple Grove residents
Nice to meet you.
should be familiar with it.
I've been doing this for 26 plus years now. So.
Chief Warner came to Maple Grove from the top position in the Rosemount Police Department.
Domestic violence is an issue I want to focus on. There's crisis intervention teams. I'd like to enhance that. And that's when we're dealing with mental health. That's something the whole profession across the country is experiencing.
Police station.
Right next to City Hall.
Over in Brooklyn Park, residents may already be familiar with new Chief Gregg Envelson. He's been on the Brooklyn Park Police Department for 21 years.
I've been around long enough. I was here for like the very first couple national night outs we ever had. And to watch how this has morphed through the work of our staff and the residents of the city of Brooklyn Park, I think really shows their dedication and commitment to Brooklyn Park and making it a better and even safer place than it is.
For Chief Envelson, it was an opportunity to tout Brooklyn Park's new Tip 411 alert and messaging system.
We have the ability to send out information real time, either email, Facebook, or Twitter, through our patrol supervisors if we need help looking for something.
While it wasn't Envelson's first national night out, it was his first as chief.
You know, the questions are a little bit different, I have to say that.
On National Night Out, Neil Persley, 12 News.
It is not National Night Out, but Night to Unite in other cities, including New Hope, Crystal, and Plymouth. However, it's the same goal of crime prevention that draws neighbors together. In New Hope on Tuesday night, around 4,000 to 5,000 people turned out for 94 block parties in the city. One of the ways New Hope police used the gatherings was to spread the word that anyone can save a life by doing hands-only CPR in an emergency situation.
First call 911 to get help coming, and then do those chest compressions until some help arrives. And what you're doing is keeping blood circulating.
New Hope neighborhoods also collected more than 1,000 pounds of food and school supplies for the near food shelf and area schools.
1, 2, 3.
Now that the ceremonial dust has settled, the real work begins in Brooklyn Park. Governor Dayton joined state and local dignitaries to break ground on 2 business expansions along the Highway 610 corridor. The governor says the expansions wouldn't have been possible if not for the $130 million investment in extending Highway 610.
These are just examples of what we can do if we get the right transportation funding, which is what we'll have to deal with next year, one way or the other. And if we don't make those commitments, we're not going to have projects like this. We're not going to have new development. We're not going to have more jobs.
Perbix Machine Company and Worth Adams Nut and Bolt are the businesses relocating to Brooklyn Park. Both will receive money from a state job creation fund for creating a combined total of more than 30 new jobs. Up next, can't get your kids to eat their veggies? A local farmers market has a good idea for that.
And then a little bit later in sports, the Champlin Park VFW baseball team is ready for action at the state tournament.
But first, staying away from the rain, the Northwest Metro should stay dry into Saturday.
Welcome back. Farmers markets often provide the missing link between local growers and the community.
In honor of National Farmers Market Week this week, we go to the Maple Grove Farmers Market to find the money-saving secrets. In the hustle and bustle that is the Maple Grove Farmers Market, this year you'll find the youngest shoppers are the ones perusing the produce.
Raspberries, because they're nice and sweet. Broccoli.
It's not by accident. The Maple Grove Farmers Market launched the POP Club, which stands for Power of Produce.
We're so excited about the Power of Produce Club because it's just really a way for kids to take ownership of trying new foods.
This summer, kids ages 5 to 12 can sign up to get their own shopping bag and a $2 token to spend on fruits and vegetables.
It's just so exciting for kids to have their own money to spend. And it's a little bit of pushback. You know, kids would kind of like to buy a cookie or they'd kind of like to buy bread, but we really want them to take the time to look and see what's here.
And the 6-week POP Club has been a hit so far, with around 600 kids taking part.
It's nice to see them take ownership for, being responsible for what they eat, and they actually fight over snap peas.
We've heard from several parents actually that kids are going home and having seconds and thirds of vegetables for dinner on Thursday night, and I know in my house that doesn't always happen, so that's a huge success right there.
But if you don't have a kid in tow and you are just looking for a deal, Kirsten says there's one simple trick for discovering the lowest price produce.
And that is just to look around at the market and see what is most plentiful.
And that's what will be the best deal of the week.
If you did a little price comparison, for example, right now on cucumbers and green beans between us and your favorite supermarket, we think we'd really come out on top because it's at the peak of the season for those green beans.
You can also check out the Minnesota Grown website to see what's in season at markets, knowing that what you buy should be as fresh as it gets.
Really, there is no better time, no better place than right now to try new produce because everything here at the farmers market is locally grown.
And the Maple Grove Farmers Market, of course, is open every Thursday from 3 until 7. But in our area, there's a farmers market open nearly every day of the week. And Alex, I don't know numbers, but I'd be willing to bet most of the kids went to the berry booth to spend their tokens. Very popular. Coming up, frighteningly fantastic news on the cereal front.
But first, meet a softball umpire from Maple Grove in our official business series. John Jacobson has that and more when we come back with sports.
John's here now with sports, and Champlin Park's doing well in a few different baseball tournaments this year.
They had finished up the Legion season last weekend, but the VFW team still playing. Champlin Park will represent District 7 at the VFW State Baseball Tournament, which starts Thursday in Brainerd. Jason Malillo caught up with the Rebels and has this report.
In the summer, kids want to be kids, so summer baseball is always a crapshoot. But the boys on the Champlin Park VFW team were pretty serious about competing, and it's paid off with a trip to state.
It was a little iffy at first, but we figured it out, and we had a great run the whole season, even with the little problems we had in the beginning, but it all worked out very well, and we made it to state like we did.
The Rebels cut their way through the District 7 tournament, arguably the toughest in the state. The team's philosophy of get 'em on, get 'em over, get 'em in was buoyed by clutch hitting in the playoffs.
Going throughout the district tournament, we had a lot of great timely hits. We were putting up double digits on the scoreboard and keeping our opponents down at zero. So obviously playing good solid defense, and that's been consistent too throughout the summer.
At the beginning of the season, when we were playing tougher competition, we were only able to scratch a couple runs off the whole game because we didn't have the clutch hitting. But at the end, everyone was hitting the ball hard, and everyone's batting averages just crept up.
Champlin Park will open the tournament Thursday morning against Austin. Jason Malillo, 12 Sports.
Champlin Park's Legion baseball team also made its respective state tournament this summer. Some of the kids on that club and most of the kids on the VFW team will be on the Rebels high school team next spring. After going 4-0 in pool play, the Plymouth-New Little League baseball team advanced to the semifinals of the Midwest Regional Tournament. Kearney, Nebraska gets off to a huge start in the first inning against Plymouth-New today, though. Brandon Grosskreutz lacing a single down the right field line to score a run. Nebraska scores 4 in the bottom of the first. In the third, Plymouth-New rallies. Down 5-0, Bjorn Jensen lines a single to bring Jack Euchre in to score, and Plymouth-New is on the board, trailing 5-1. Patrick Bray bounces a hit up the middle for the Minnesota squad, and Jensen is in to score to make it a 5-2 ball game, and Plymouth-New isn't done in the inning. Aaron Lutterell delivers a base hit up the middle to score a run. And when the throw to the plate is deflected by the pitcher for Kearney, Bray dashes home, and Plymouth-New is right back in it, trailing 5-4. In the fifth inning, tied at 5. Bray at the plate, and he smacks a hit, mishandled a bit, and the go-ahead run scores. But Kearney scores 6 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and they eliminate Plymouth-New Hope 11-7. After spending a lot of years watching his daughters play fast-pitch softball, a Maple Grove man decided to stay in the game by becoming an umpire. Here's Jay Wilcox with this week's official business.
Gregg Williams never played fast-pitch softball. He played baseball as a kid, but he coached his daughters and saw plenty of their games. He decided about 18 months ago to don the umpiring gear for softball.
The thing that surprised me is I had to relax out there. I mean, I wanted to give it my full effort, and the game got easier, more understanding of the game when I let the game unfold in front of me versus trying to run around too much.
Save! Though the game has more offense than it used to, fast pitch is still a lot about pitching. Getting ball strike calls right is a big part of things for an ump.
If you want a percentage, I'd say it's over 50% of it because, you could really, the game could be a travesty if you're calling balls and strikes incorrectly, and if pitchers don't know what a strike is the way you're calling it, it can really become discouraging for the players, discouraging for coaches, discouraging for the fans that come out and watch. So it's important for you to know the proper mechanics so that you can call the game correctly.
Williams is businesslike in his style, and he says he hasn't had too many problems with players or coaches so far.
If you set the tempo of the game early on and they realize that you're out there giving it a very good effort and you're calling a good game, they're in control. Sometimes coaches get a little bit passionate about the game, and you have to remind them that it is a game about girls and young ladies and keep their perspective focused on the right things.
For official business, Jay Wilcox, 12 Sports.
Gregg's daughter Reagan will be a senior at Wayzata this school year. She's the Trojans' 3rd baseman in softball. So we got to stay even keel, even with those passionate parents.
Coaches and parents, that's right. Thanks, John. Still ahead, a DC Comics illustrator who worked on Batman and Superman now gets to take on cereal.
The scary yet refreshing result when we come back. And finally, it's not Halloween, but Tales from the Cereal Crypt.
3 monster favorites are getting a new look. General Mills will have new boxes for its 3 monster cereals, Frankenberry, Boo Berry, and of course, Count Chocula. The boxes were designed with the help of DC Comics illustrators. The Boo Berry box in particular was designed by Jim Lee, who worked on Batman and Superman, among other superheroes. Lee says the design was actually more difficult than initially thought. He says simple shaped characters can be more challenging than detailed ones because every line counts. And fans of the cereal will also still be able to get the retro look boxes too when the product goes on sale, if you can't commit to the new look, right? So
all right, there you go.
That does it for us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Community Corner is coming up next.